We end our podcast session. Aha, yes, it's time for the spectacles. We match. We finally match. We end our podcast session with a weekly dose version of the questionnaire that was used masterfully for 24 years by the great James Lipton inside the Actors Studio. And the first question is, Geri Cole, what is your favorite drug?
Oh, favorite drug. I think I'm gonna stick with the classic of weed.
Weed.
Yeah, I feel like, if we're thinking, if we're talking drugs, like I don't want to be like caffeine or
Sure.
confidence,
We're all adults
actual
here.
drugs. Yeah, actual drugs. I think I'm gonna go with weed, but like a very specific type of weed. I get very
What's your strain?
Well, I always need help with that. That's why I love going to the places where it's legal, so then you can get the like recommendations.
Sure,
Because I always just sort of want the giggle, I don't need to lose my mind. I just want to have the thing that's like.
Ah, I see. Yes. So you're into hybrid territory because if you don't want you don't want to be passing out. You don't want to be in the couch.
I don't need
as the kids
snooze.
say.
Yeah.
So you want a little something that goes up, and you want a little something that gets you a little, having the, a good time, floating. The face that you made said it all. I'm trying to explain that. It was a floating. Your face was just blissfully floating.
It was, it's the kind that just makes you like giggle and you're like, oh yeah, like you're having a good time.
I'm with you.
Party weed.
Find that sweet spot. What is your least favorite drug?
Are we considering alcohol a drug?
Absolutely.
Actually, but that's not my worst. That's not my worst favorite. I feel like I might also can still say weed.
Oh my goodness! The duality, the cannabis duality. I love it. First time for that answer. Love it.
Really? Okay. To be honest, I haven't done a ton of drugs. And so I feel like I've certainly also had those, it's like you have those times I've had those times where I've smoked weed where it's been like, oh man, honestly had those years where I smoked weed where I was like, I was like, why was everything always so fun? And it's like, you were high.
Yes.
Yeah. But then I've also had those times where it was like, and that's why I stopped smoking weed for a while. Anxiety. I hit a wall at some point where it was like, oh, I'm just going to be paranoid. As soon as I just want, suddenly I'm like, oh, I need to go lay down,
Yes. Yeah, well, sure. Especially as you said before, if you don't, if you're in a place that doesn't have a dispensary, that you're able to go to, things are labeled and you understand what it is you're getting yourself into. It's a bit of a roulette. So
there was one time where they had that rumor in the 70s where it was like, you'll have flashbacks. It's going to stay with you.
Sure.
There's one time I feel like I'm still not convinced that I might be still having flashbacks. So maybe it wasn't a lie. I got so high that and I've told this story before, but I think that it will tell you how, why it was not fun. I got so high, I couldn't tell if I was awake or asleep.
Ooh. Oh, the in-betwixt.
And I needed to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
But I couldn't go because every time I would go into the bathroom and take my pants down, I was convinced that I was actually asleep and getting ready to piss myself.
Oh, and torturous. Torture.
And it's like, I couldn't tell if I was awake or asleep.
Oh my!
And
goodness.
that was.
What was the verdict? Did you wake up with the wet sheets? All right, you were awake. Perfect.
I was awake.
Listen. That's a nightmare scenario. I tend to occasionally, more often than I'd like, I have a sleep paralysis. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Oh, I've had that before.
Oh, really? You've had it? Now I'm talking about, under the influence, but not under the influence, even sober. The little demons creep up on you. You can't move.
Sure do.
Oh, awake and asleep. Talk about wanting to piss and shit yourself and run away screaming, but you can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like there's a period of time. It hasn't happened to me in a long time, but there was a period of time where it used to happen to me somewhat regularly. Mm-hmm. And it's the most terrifying thing.
It is. I enjoyed the novelty at first. in the very beginning. But then I immediately was like, no, this is
not fun.
Bad news. This is for the
I'm
birds.
trapped inside my body.
Yes, yeah.
And I would always just get or at least in my experience, where then because I was awake,
sure.
But couldn't open my eyes or move, and so I could only move once someone touched me, like I needed the touch to break me out, and so and so several times whoever I was with would be like, "Are you okay?" Because they would see me going like,
yes, yes, a horror show. A horror show. I can imagine looking on from that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, wrestling with those shadow demons. My goodness.
Yeah.
What age were you the first time you found yourself under the influence?
Of
drugs, not of shadow demons. We can leave it. Oh, sleep paralysis. That's for another program. I think you and I should start a podcast about sleep paralysis, but that's another program for another day. But what about for drugs?
Yeah. For drugs, I think I was probably 16.
Yes.
Yeah, somewhere around 16. I mean, I feel like I had my first drink first. I had my first drink around like 14. And then, I think, but I feel like the first time I got high, like really, I was like, oh, you're high. I was like 17. Like I had been like trying to smoke with friends.
Sure.
Around that age. And then it wasn't, I feel like I wasn't actually getting high. Yes. I wasn't doing it right.
Yeah, you fiddle and faddle around a little bit before you really get there. What celebrity's overdose death has had the most profound effect on you?
Oh, ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, they all feel really sad, They all feel really sad. I think it feels especially sad. And this is, I don't know that it's had the strongest effect on me, but my first thought was it feels especially sad when it's someone like Jimi Hendrix, who, as far as I understand, choked to death on his own vomit. And that to me, like the horror of that is, I mean, like it's all awful. But that, like, you were so incapacitated and there was no one caring for you.
Yes.
That's like, that feels like such an awful way to
isolated. Yes. I believe it was alcohol, barbiturates. It was a mix of that really and night demons as well, perhaps. I mean that's the ultimate. Yeah. The ultimate.
Yeah, maybe the night
and
demons.
So young, the Forever 27. Hendrix is in the Forever 27.
Yeah, the 27 Club. I mean, basically everyone who's entered into the 27 Club, I feel like it feels awful.
Yes.
I mean, in recent memory, like Prince, that one was that. I mean, do we call that an overdose? I feel like
I believe so, yes. There's a lot of mystery shrouding, I think, because of liability and whatnot. But, I mean, he was on, under multiple doctors' care. But, yes, I believe it was a fentanyl overdose that eventually, maybe mixing with other.
I mean, those two, him and Michael Jackson shook me. I mean, obviously, we've learned some new things since their passing, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But those two artists specifically, that was like, whoa.
Yes.
They're allowed to die.
Titans. Yes. No, they were larger than life.
Yeah.
What is your favorite slang word for cannabis?
Oh, slang word for cannabis. Doobie?
I'm sorry, was that a do at the end?
Doobie.
Yes.
Maybe do. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that one's that's fun to say.
It sure is. Spark up a doobie doo.
Yeah, exactly.
What drug would you like to deal for a living?
Oh, the deal for a living? I think I would go mushrooms because I feel like we have only just scratched the surface of the healing power of psilocybin.
Yes.
Psilocybin.
Yes.
And it feels ridiculous and rude that it's only just gotten to this point. And especially since, as far as I understand, like there was like a ton of research and it was like destroyed, discarded.
That's right.
And it feels, I guess depending on whatever your religious beliefs are, but it's like, to me, it's like so obvious that it was like, that's how we got here. It was like some monkey was like, let me just eat a little.
Nibble a little bit from the earth. Yes. Let me just.
And so they were like,
this fungus.
Who am I?
That's right.
Yeah.
And then evolves from there. Starts to see the doors of perception open and you start using tools and yes.
Yeah. A consciousness, a sense of self.
What drug would you absolutely not like to deal under any circumstances?
Oh, not like under any circumstances. I'm gonna go with heroin.
Hmm.
I feel like, and or any other, like all those oxys. Those are also that's
The
essentially like
opioids,
the
yes,
same
yes,
class of
sure.
opioids. Only because from what I can tell, never ends well. There's never a good. I mean, like I've not ever tried. I've had friends who have been through that road, been down that road.
Sure.
Um, and it just feels like it only leads to darkness.
Yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful drug. I was speaking from experience, but yes, it does lead to, and I some I often talk about potentially the circumstances that that it's not regulated, and now we have a poison drug supply, and how you're forced to kind of go into the shadows to use. I mean, there's ways to potentially use heroin. I mean, I was not able to myself. I went right to right to the final last stop on the train very quickly. But
Mm,
some people can use it, more recreationally, or use it in
mm,
different. I was self-medicating very hard, so I went. I took myself to places, but I think the poison drug supply is also a big problem there. So if you were dealing, you'd want it to be regular. You wouldn't want to end up giving someone a hot shot, giving someone something you don't even know what it is you're dealing with. That's so I understand that. I
mm,
understand that. And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear
mm.
Jimi Hendrix say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
uh, oh man, the top one. I guess I would like, yeah, if heaven exists, big if.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to hear Jimi Hendrix say, "You did all right.
Yes. Yes.
You did all right."
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Jimi Hendrix, Jerry Cole, here are your drug uses. Weekly dose.
Hey America, there's needle use sleeping with your children, with your daughters, with your sons, and